Hey guys, welcome to Average Jake Reviews. We're going to be going over the house of Herba London. So about a month and a half ago, I reached out to Herba London via Instagram, and I asked them if they had a sample kit for the full line. And Peter, who apparently is the owner of Herba London, reached out and said, absolutely, we could get it sent out to you. So full disclosure, Herba London did cover the cost on both shipping and the sample set that we'll be reviewing tonight. So that's not going to skew anything. So first of all, the thing that I'd like to cover is that each one of their fragrances, when you get this sample kit, is going to come in its own little envelope with a card describing the scent. And the first one we'll start with is called Jealous Juice. Now, Jealous Juice, as far as the notes are concerned, we're looking at ylang ylang, spicy lily, energizing jasmine, animalistic musk, vanilla scented benzoin, and spicy cinnamon like tonka. Now, Jealous Juice is incredibly animalistic, but in a totally acceptable way. I'm not a huge fan of animalistic anything. I think animalistic ouds, and this is the first time that I've had a musk that gives that vibe. But the animalistic vibe in Jealous Juice is fantastic. It is very floral. You do get the ylang ylang up front, as well as the jasmine. And then I think into the dry down, while those both stick around, that animalistic musk is just kicking, and then the tonka is there as a supporting note. Now, Jealous Juice, again, while I'm not into animalistic fragrances, Jealous Juice is actually really good. The projection was great. The longevity was phenomenal. I think this is actually one of the better performing fragrances as far as longevity is concerned. But overall, Jealous Juice is a fantastic fragrance. So next up, we're going to cover their fragrance called Bergamot. Now, Bergamot is interesting because I love the note of bergamot. Now, in this one, they have listed as the notes bergamot, of course, lemon, and sweet, gentle floral notes, which the floral notes I don't really get too much. I think I get a hint of it, but the main player in this to me is like a lemon lime vibe. The bergamot's there, but it's kind of in the background to the lemon and lime. Again, an overall lovely fragrance. Now, the main thing with all of these juices in the line are that the fragrance is very natural, very, very natural. It's not like many other houses that I've actually experienced. And I told Peter maybe a day or two into having them, I had kind of done a first sniff, and I hadn't worn any of them yet, but I told him that already off the bat I could tell this is going to be one of the better houses that I've tried lately. The fragrances are all extremely natural, and the performance, the scent profiles are all incredible as well. So overall, Bergamot, fantastic, fantastic fragrance. Next up, we're going to cover Gem 87. Now, Gem 87 is, again, going to the floral bergamot. There's what they describe as a vibrant orange in the top note, lavender, jasmine, and black pepper, amber, cedarwood, and musk. Now, Gem 87 I think is in one of my top 4 of the house. I had a really hard time because I like all of them except one, and I don't know if it's just the way I wear it or if it's the fragrance itself, but Gem 87 is in my top 4. The longevity wasn't quite as good as Jealous Juice, but I did still get about a solid 6 to 7 hours, and again with that very, very natural smell. So beautiful fragrance. Next up, we're going to cover Her 86. Her 86 has beautiful rose notes. Now, I've had a really hard time with rose. That's been one of the notes that I haven't really fallen in love with. I've smelled a couple really good ones in the last couple months, and this one is one of them. They describe this as celebrating the finest of florals, and they've got a Turkish and Bulgarian rose on top with saffron, black pepper, and leads to heart notes of vanilla and cinnamon. Base notes are listed as fragrant incense, exotic amber, mellow sandalwood, and sweet patchouli. The patchouli is extremely light, so if patchouli normally scares you away, I wouldn't avoid this fragrance whatsoever. The Turkish and Bulgarian rose, I don't know that I know the difference, but the rose in this fragrance is top-notch. So coming from someone who's not a huge rose fan at this point, I think that's really a pretty big thing to say from my perspective. Now, the vanilla and the cinnamon and all of that stuff, once you get into the heart and base, it's there, but that rose, to me, the entire length of the fragrance is just right up front, screaming, hey, I'm here. So, again, lovely fragrance. This one does go a little more feminine in my eyes. I try not to put gender on fragrances, but I think sometimes it's just a necessary thing. And while I would say that it leans more feminine, I did actually really enjoy wearing Her 86. Next up, we'll talk about the one that I think just about everybody knows Herba London for. This fragrance is the one that I saw and read the notes of, and I thought, man, I gotta try this house. So this fragrance is called Urban Hipster. Urban Hipster is described as cool, dry, dusty notes with hints of Cuban tobacco, rock rose, incense, dry black pepper, cedarwood, sandalwood, amber, leather, and lemony vetiver. Urban Hipster, and actually I want to refresh her this one. Oddly enough, this didn't, oof, that's beautiful. So, first of all, right off the top, I think I'm getting the tobacco, the incense, maybe a hint of that rock rose, and I actually get the vetiver right up front too. Urban Hipster, while an awesome fragrance, is probably number 2 or number 3 on my list. Longevity was okay. I think, again, it was maybe a 6 to 7 hours. Now, with their pricing in mind, it's not the most inexpensive juice, but it's also not the most expensive juice. And for the quality of fragrance that you get from them, the depth, the realness, that very natural smelling fragrance, the whole line, that it just carries throughout the whole line. That's something that I would say is totally worth reapplying if necessary. Now, again, this is all on me. I don't know how it will perform on everyone else. I've read everything from 5 to 6 hours up to 10 to 12. I almost get from this kind of a clove vibe, and that might just be the incense and the rose mixing. But overall, again, an awesome fragrance. Like I said, definitely top 3. And I think this next one that we're going to be covering is probably my number 1 from the house, although it doesn't last as long for me as really any of the other ones. It's kind of the lightest one for me. Now, next up, we're going to cover what I believe is Cue the River. And Cue the River is spicy tonka, bitter orange, vanilla, sandalwood, bergamot, and they say enhanced with an alluring amber effect. So Cue the River was unbelievably good. Now I think I wore this on too cold of a day, and I really would love to see what this fragrance is like in the warmer months. Oh man, I get like a citrus laundry detergent or even like dryer sheet vibe, but with that quality, like I said, that is maintained through the whole thing. Right off the top, I think I'm getting that spicy orange and definitely the tonka. So good. And then into the dry down, you start to get that vanilla and sandalwood. Absolutely beautiful fragrance. One of my top 3, if not my favorite. Next up, we're going to cover Naked Neroli. Naked Neroli is exactly what it says. It is a floral herbal beast. It really is. So Naked Neroli. So the notes include basil, which I thought was very interesting, honey-scented neroli, fresh rose, jasmine, mandarin, peppery musk, woods, and pure amber. Naked Neroli, like I said, is exactly what they describe it as. I'm gonna spray a little on this hand over here. And I almost get like a honeysuckle vibe, and so realistic. Like, this to me is almost like smelling a fresh flower. It is unbelievable how well they captured the scent. Like I said, I get that honeysuckle vibe, as if I'm laying in a pile of them. So, really what I think is very interesting about this one is that basil. You get a fresh basil, and again, true to form. This house, like I said a million times, is so good at capturing a very natural, realistic, punch you in the face. I mean, if you close your eyes, you truly would feel like you're smelling that thing. That's something that I don't see all that often. It's something that really impressed me right off the bat with this house. Not to mention the fact that I think that Peter is just a phenomenal guy, and our minimal chats back and forth after I had tested some of the fragrances, I was just blown away. And the day that I finished it, I think I finished it on Naked Neroli. I did obviously 8 days of wearing Herba London right in a row. So it really, I think, gave me the opportunity to experience all of them with, you know, as much as I would love to wear them multiple days, there are just a million fragrances that I'm trying to try. And in the grand scheme of things, like I had told him, I would hands down recommend their line over just about anybody else that I've tried lately. There are a few others that I really dig, but I think they're kind of on their own feet. You know, it doesn't smell like this. It doesn't smell like this person's fragrance. It is a standalone monster line that I think of all of them, and even the one that I'm not a huge fan of, I think it still has that vibe. It still has that realism that very few other perfumers capture. So kudos to them for everything they've done. So last, in my eyes least, this actually was the other fragrance that I was super excited to try, which is Amber or Ombre. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but this is what they describe: musk, vanilla, tonka, labdanum, sandalwood, spicy patchouli, and nutmeg, cinnamon, and clove. Unfortunately, Amber or Ombre however it's pronounced. To me, and I hate to say this because these guys were phenomenal. Peter was awesome. The whole line was really, really good. This one unfortunately gives me this. This one unfortunately gives me a BO and clove vibe, which is really sad because I was super excited when I saw the notes. I don't know if it's the nutmeg or what it is. Something is just giving me this strong BO smell. Oof. Of course, this is my nose. It's my nose. Yours is going to be completely different. I highly encourage you to try all of them. I know there are lots of fans of Amber or Ombre, however you pronounce it. I know there are lots of people that are fans of it. So I would highly encourage you to try this sample set. Reach out to Peter, tell him you saw it here, and see what you think. I truly think that this is a fragrance house that everyone should get their nose on. Unfortunately, Herba London is not distributed here in the States, though they will ship to the States. And I believe, you'll have to double check on their website, but I do believe that they have free shipping on any of their bottles. Anything over 100 if I'm not mistaken. So they also just recently came out with, and I don't know the details of it, I apologize to you guys, but do look on their page. I know they posted about it recently. They've got a set that's going to be smaller bottles, kind of you know, larger than these sample vials, but I think what they're marketing as a travel set. And that travel set, you get to choose multiple bottles. I think you can pretty much build whatever you want to. Great pricing, awesome pricing. And again, I can't recommend enough for you guys to try these. I've spoken with a few other people that I've seen mention them on Instagram, and they had the same exact sentiment as I do, and they couldn't have been more right. This was before I had them in hand, and these guys said, you're gonna absolutely love it. Guess what? They were right. So anyway, I'm gonna keep this one as short as possible. I apologize for all of my ramblings. I am gonna try and release a couple videos here in the coming days. I apologize for the delay in videos. You know, a little bit of info on me. I'm a father of 3, and my littlest baby has been very sick for, or was very sick for about 10 days or so. So I was very distracted by that, but I look forward to releasing some more content. I am gonna do a couple more of these sample set deals. So for the people that love to see full bottles, I apologize, but I want to get a couple of these things out. There are a few that I really do feel strongly about, so look for those in the coming days. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, I hope you'd consider doing so, and like this video, please. It would mean a lot. I will see you guys in the next one.